Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. My name is Brad. This video is going to be the kickoff of another restoration series. This time it's going to be a South Bend 7-inch shaper. Now a couple months ago I bought the machine. It was an eBay deal, and I met the seller through eBay. We struck a deal. I went down to Kenilworth and picked up the machine. It was a woman whose husband passed away, and he owned the shaper, and I think he was a machinist. I met his daughters and we got to talking and everything, and I told them that one day I would, I had plans on restoring the machine. It wasn't going to be anytime soon, but I brought the machine home and got it, plugged it in, and it was working fine and very quiet. And then about a week or two later, I went to an estate sale and bought another shaper because, when you see a shaper at a good price, you don't leave it. And what I was doing with this one is I was playing around with it. I was trying to put a different piece onto it, and I accidentally removed the oil pump internally, and it fell down into the sump, and I tried to put it back, and in doing so, one of the actuation arms to work the pump didn't go back on, and I wound up disassembling a good portion of it to get at that, not knowing how to actually fix it, which was simple, by the way, very, very simple. Long story short, I wandered down the rabbit hole and wound up taking, like I said, a huge portion of the machine apart. And at that point, you have a big pile of nuts and bolts and parts, so you might as well take it all apart and start the restore. So that's what I did. So I don't have any footage really of the disassembly of the machine. I will have footage of me putting it back together. So that said, what you're going to see is me going to get the machine, the machine being brought down into here, actually an explanation of how I brought it down here. The machine in place, the machine running for a little bit, and then it's going to clip, and you're going to see the machine in shambles, in a very state of disassembly, and from there on, that's when the restoration will actually kick in and begin. So just wanted to kind of let you know what you're going to be seeing in the next coming minutes. So sit back, enjoy. I hope it's a fun journey for you. It's going to be a lot of fun to bring this machine back to its original glory, back to its original color. And I hope the original owner's daughters, I'm going to pass this video along to them so they could watch and see the machine, be brought back to its original state. So hope you all enjoy it, and let's get started. Well, it's new machine day. Going to pick up the shaper, South Bend shaper. Just grabbing some tools, and need a couple more things here. Can never have too many wrenches, especially when you're going to pick up a machine at someone else's house that you've never been to. Well, it's 6:49 in the morning on a Sunday, February 21st, 22nd, I don't know, it's still early, and I'm going to get a shaper, South Bend shaper. I'm excited. Deja vu. It was kind of like this last year when I went to go get my surface grinder. So the day is beautiful. It's kind of warm here in Pennsylvania, and I'm adding to my South Bend collection today. Adding to the South Bend Museum, the newest member. It's time to bring the shaper downstairs now. We're going to clear out some area here. We're going to get some 2x12s and lay them on the stairs. Let the cabinet slide down. Controlled kind of an operation. And I'm going to probably put it right beyond this bench just for now. All that stuff is going to be getting out of here soon, and the shop is going to expand out that way. But for now, we're going to put the shaper right over here. I'll get back with you when we're down. Alright, shaper is in place. I'll let you know what I did. I put two 2x12s and I laid them down onto the stairs. Opened up the Bilco doors, laid them down on the stairs. I screwed them down to the little wooden bottom of the door jamb over there so they wouldn't slide down. They're level right with the steps, and what I did was I brought the cabinet in and I literally stood it up and I teetered it back and I got behind it, which a lot of people will say is very dangerous, but the cabinet is honestly not very heavy at all. And I just kind of, you know, with legs on either side walking down, I just let it slide down. I mean, it was over in 6 seconds and it went right down there. I just slid it right into place right over there. Next came the shaper itself. I wheeled it on a dolly right to the right to the stairs, and same deal. But there is one precaution that I took. Over here you'll notice two weep holes, or air holes, I'm sorry, for the oil. And there's a shaft over here, and on the other side there's some other areas where oil can leak out. But predominantly the oil, if you tip it, the oil will come right out of here and just ooze everywhere. So I don't know, I got a wine cork and cut them in half, and I just held these right here, held them up against there, and strapped this ratchet strap around it to hold them in place. And again, it was over in 15 seconds. It went straight down to the bottom. It's light enough where you could just bear hug it, pick it up, and put it right onto the dolly. Brought it over here, and then I turned it, if you could picture it this way. So the rear was here, and the front was over here. And I just picked it up and tilted it and got the back right up onto here and just slid it right on, and then put it right in place. Again, over in a couple of seconds. It wasn't really that heavy. I didn't get hurt. The shaper obviously didn't incur any damage. So I'm going to bolt this down. I'm going to put the motor back on, connect the electric to it, and we'll get it started, and I'll show you it running. Well, here's the first run of the South Bend shaper down in the basement. It's quiet, real quiet, runs smooth. Oil pump works great. You could hear it squirting, swishing around. So I'm happy. So she'll sit here until I'm ready to restore it. So here's what's left. It looks like a machinery murder scene, but I can assure you it's not. There's all this metal shavings here was trying to drill out a pin to remove the collar from this shaft here. But again, what started off as trying to fix the pump lever turned into a bit of a forced disassembly. So I don't have a lot of the disassembly on camera, on video, but from here on in, I'll show you the steps of the way, the degreasing, the cleanup, and the ultimate restoration of this guy. But I will show you a walkthrough of what I had done with the parts and try to do my best to kind of recreate what happened here. Alright, so we got the main body now separated from the bottom base portion, and I just have it sitting up here in the cabinet. And I don't know if you could see that down in there. Let's try to shine some light in there. You could see, yeah, the oil pump is just kind of hanging there, floating around. I got the sump all drained out now. The drain's on the other side. This over here is just the oil down below here. The camera's not picking it up, but there's another drain port here, which I believe is for draining it if you overfill it. Now you'll notice right over here is the tube that feeds the Gibbs side of the ram with oil. This one isn't working. I don't know what the problem is, But I have a sneaking suspicion that it was caused by the disassembly. There's a tube that sticks through here, and it actually goes through the gib. So the gib sits here, and the gib has a hole in it, and it sits in here, to allow oil to come through. Reading some threads on Practical Machinist, they said you're supposed to remove the ram first and leave the gib in place, and then you pull the gib off. Well, like a lot of people, I read that after I removed everything, and I wound up removing the gib first, and it just sheared it off. I took a small little, I think it was a number 50 drill, and kind of just bored that out a little bit by hand with a hand chuck I have. I adjusted the flow down here on the oil pump, and I'm gonna see if adjusting the flow will start to get some oil, flowing up here, because on the other side over here, oil wasn't flowing. And I adjusted one of the sides, not two, don't ask why, but I only adjusted one side, and it started to flow. So I still have to do some tests and see, and I don't know, we'll have to see what we could do to fix it if it's not behaving the way it should. Now you'll notice right here is a aluminum plug, which will give you access to this portion right where they soldered these like little fittings in. So that's the aluminum plug there, and there's also a little tiny brass plug right here, which gives you access to the tube that squirts the oil through the gib. So I don't know. I'm really hoping that once I hook the pump up, it'll start flowing, and I don't have to get involved with taking this plug out, because I really don't want to do that. But this guy's going to get ready. We're going to soak it. We're going to clean all this top section off here with Purple Power. I'm probably going to just take a sponge and a brush with some Purple Power, some diluted Purple Power, let it soak around, slosh it around in there, and clean it up, just to get the sludge off. I'm not really interested in degreasing it, because it's just going to get oily again, and I'm not going to repaint it on the inside. I really don't think that there's a purpose. It's got that red oil-resistant paint in there already, so in fact, I might not even use Purple Power to get the sludge out. I might just use a little dish detergent or something gentle to remove anything that's sludgy. I don't mind if it's oily. Again, I just, there's some like dirt here. You can see some shavings and whatnot. We'll get all that out of there, and we'll get it prepped and ready to go. So the next step is going to be on these, on this casting and on the motor and the base that's located over on that side of the shop. We're going to get that ready for paint removal now. So here's all our castings ready to go to get the paint stripped off of them. We have the motor mount here. We've got the ram, 3 pieces of the electrical switch box. We got the main pulley here. We got the 2 small belt pulleys here, pulley guard, belt guard, and of course the sump access panel. Alright, over here we have the base, we have the saddle, and we have the table sitting on there. Those 2 all getting ready for paint removal. What I have in these bags now is all the delicate cast aluminum pieces. These are the things that you can't use Mr. Muscle on, or anything that's real harsh. So Citrus Strip has always been gentle enough. It's funny because Citrus Strip is gentle enough you could get it on your hands, you can hold the parts, and not that I recommend it, but you can. It's gentle enough to be on your hands, it's gentle enough to be on the cast aluminum, yet it will eat through anything. This stuff will eat through powder coating if you give it an overnight shot. So again, pieces are inside these bags. Not 100% airtight, but as best as I could to prevent evaporation. And we'll check these tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to scrub them down and get them clean. All right, so we've taken out our belt guards out of its cocoon that it's been sitting in for about a week. It's been inside a garbage bag, and it's been completely airtight. And as you can see, the paint is really ready to come off now. So let's scrape it off. And if you're wondering why my hands look so young, that would be Basement Shop Guy Jr. lending a hand here. Now I think that paint right there is primer. It's oil resistant. I think it's the oil resistant stuff. Same color, but it could just be an undercoating that South Bend used. In fact, this was the same color stuff that was on my 9 when I was redoing that. So we're going to just keep stripping away and we'll come back when it's done. So we got the pieces, these guards, cleaned up now, kind of as best as we could on the bench. This is the next day. They're dry, but you could see all the remnants of this this brown undercoating. It's probably like a high build primer that South Bend used. Again, it comes right off with citrus strip, but what happens is when you put it on, on parts that have this, when you put it on, the paint drinks up all the citrus strip, and then that's it. You need to put a second layer on. So we're going to put a second layer on this and this guy. Still got this part to do, which is the sump cover. Over here we have the base. We're going to be doing that next, and still remaining is the saddle, the motor stand, and and this guy right here. This is the little electrical box, 3-piece electric switch box. This will be real simple. So let's get started on that. Before I get started, I just wanted to show you the green wheel. It's no longer green. It's nice and silver. In fact, there's hardly a nick or a scratch on it. I mean, it literally looks like it came right out of, besides it being dirty, it looks just like it came out of the mold. So this is nice. And, you know, the same goes for these pulleys. There's no more paint. There's no more crud on them. They do need to be clean, though, that's for sure. So we'll get these going on the Scotch-Brite wheel. I noticed, if you could see that, I left 2 set screws in there. Well, we just put on some more citrus strip on the base, the pulley guard, saddle, ram. Over here, deep in a cocoon of plastic bags, we have some more parts. And you could see some Ziploc bags over there have some other small castings, like the electrical box. Yeah, the electrical box is in there. One of the belt guards, pulley belt guards, is in there. And something else, I don't know. I'm too lazy to walk over there. But as you could see, that paint and that brown undercoat, it doesn't stand a chance. Doesn't stand a chance against the mighty citrus strip. That stuff will take anything off. And I will say this, if you have parts that are just filled with grease, paint, grease, grime, swarf, all just loaded up into tight areas, citrus strip just takes it all out. It's like a nice clean wash. What could I say? I hope citrus strip, Purple Power, and Evaporust will sponsor me. I say their names so many times. I mean, it's great products. I use it for everything. So guys, if you're out there and you want to send me free product to derust things, strip paint, and degrease things, let me know. I'm open to all offers. Alright, let's give this a little bit of a scrape. This has been sitting out overnight. Getting all this old paint off. It's like uncovering a fossil. I need a stronger brush. There's a lot of the undercoating stuck in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, this is a pretty stiff bristled plastic brush. I'm going to just go through all these different cracks and crevices and just remove all the stubborn undercoating here, and then get ready for its last and final round of citrus strip, which will really clean this all up, get it down to bare metal. Probably a lot of it is down to bare metal. It's just like the smeared undercoating. It just turns into like a clay, and it just kind of stays inside the grain of the casting. I finished brushing everything off now, and the casting is actually bone dry. Made a mess, but it's dry, and what I want to do now is take my specialty tool, which is a sharpened dart, and just kind of go in here and really clean up these letters. This is a real nice raised casting, you know, raised emblem, and I really want it to pop when I paint it. So I'm just tracing around the letters, making sure there's no stubborn filler. I think the original, when it was painted, the tops of the letters were topped with black paint. Now I plan to use a high build primer on this as well, but I'm going to try to see if I could not get it in here, because I really like how raised these letters are. I hope the previous owner looks down and approves. I think he would be proud. And it is one of the cool parts about restoring a machine. You know, you kind of pay homage to the previous owner. You know, this could have made him a lot of money. Could have been his pride and joy too. So I just want to honor that as well. Satisfying my own needs of making it pretty, and also doing right by the previous owner. I remember when I did my South Bend lathe, when I restored it, I sent pictures to the previous owner, and he didn't recognize it. He almost didn't believe me. Then I sent him the video, and he was blown away. You know, and very appreciative. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool if you get rid of a beloved machine, and you know that it went to a good home and that it's not being misused or mistreated. And you know, in some cases they come out looking really nice, like in this case. This shaper passed through Stevenson Machinery in Kenilworth. That's who the client was. The dealer, anyway. All right, I think I did that pretty good. And there she is, proudly displaying its designation, South Bend 7-inch shaper. Very nice.